How y'all doing this evening?
Welcome to the FILA Sports Podcast, the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. It's Wednesday night, which means we're talking college football, and we're talking the Cure Bowl tonight. Georgia Southern going down to Orlando to play in the Cure Bowl. It's your boy Coach Mario and the man known as the Don. What's going on, Don?
What's good? How y'all doing this evening? We back with another episode of Rivalry Week. I know this past weekend nothing went right for Georgia college teams, but it is what it is. So if you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Georgia collegiate sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section as always.
Come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. All right, we got a special guest on. It's funny how I ran into this guy Mike. A few weeks ago, we was covering the Martin Haight rivalry between Georgia Southern and Georgia State, and a lot of people on social media was complaining that you need to have Herald GS Sports on. He know what he talking about. And it's funny because we doing the show now, right? And I even pretty much advertised the show on social media. None of those people who was hollering for you to be on, guess what? They ain't nowhere to be found. But guess what? We still excited for you to be on, because I said that, you know what, I'm gonna get him on, because a lot of people saying that this man good. You know what? I'm gonna believe everybody and say this man good. So what's good, Mike? How you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on. Everybody's got their army, man. They can show up for you and get to yapping when they think you're not getting the love that you should. But like you said, it's a Wednesday night. People have other things to do, I guess. But I wish they'd be following you and following me, right?
Hey,
we do our college show every Wednesday night.
Yeah, so we do a college show every Wednesday night. We got loyal followers, and we got 6 people watching right now. That Georgia boy 17, he never misses a show. If he misses a show, we got to figure out who we need to contact to make sure or call the corner.
He
ain't wound up dead or somewhere.
Anyway. Yeah, he didn't got caught up at Wayfield.
Mm-hmm. All right. So thank you for joining us, Mike. So guys, you already know, if you haven't been following us on our social media platforms, follow us on Twitter, FILA_SP, Instagram, FILA Sports Podcast, Facebook, FILA Sports Podcast. If you just want to check the audio out only on our podcast, we're on Apple Podcasts, and we're on Spotify and Google Play. All right, let's go ahead and get down to business. Go ahead and go over what happened this past week and the bowl bids.
Georgia lost to LSU 37-10. Now, SEC championship game, we all know Georgia took it on the chin, 37-10. LSU came in and absolutely dominated. They'll be going to the college football playoffs. They'll be taking on Oklahoma, and Georgia will be going to the Sugar Bowl January 1st, going to the Sugar Bowl. You guys don't know, Sugar Bowl is in the Mercedes-Benz now, the real Mercedes-Benz Dome. It's not in New Orleans, it's in Atlanta now. So a lot of people don't know that. It's in Atlanta.
The Sugar Bowl?
Mm-hmm. It's in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. It's not in New Orleans.
Yes, it is. It is in New Orleans.
Okay.
It is in New Orleans. It ain't never moved the Sugar. They only moved the Sugar Bowl one time, and that was when Katrina back in 2005. But it's in the Superdome. The Peach Bowl is in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They got two names. The Superdome.
Mercedes-Benz is sponsoring too many things.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. It's a Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. That's where the Sugar Bowl's played.
I know it's normally played there. All right, my bad. Hold on. I got to double check that. I know it's normally in New Orleans. I thought it was moved permanently, but I'm my bad if I was wrong. What I said, we're taking on Baylor though. It's gonna be a good game actually though. People not giving Baylor a shot, man. Baylor's a good team, man. they have athletes. They have speed. So you know, I mean,
here's my take: if Georgia take Baylor just like they took Texas last year, it's gonna be a long night for them.
yeah, I mean, you know, I saw today J.R. Reed announced he was going to play. So, you know, we don't know what Swift is going to do, what Isaiah Wilson will do, what Andrew will do. So, you know, but I can't be mad at these kids, man, for not playing, man. I mean, everybody saw what happened to Jalen Smith years ago. I, I can't be mad, you know. Yeah, at what I can't be mad at the kid not playing. Yeah. How you guys feel about that? The kids not playing in the bowl games.
Hey, they securing their future. I can't be mad. Like
you
played the season out. If you're not playing for a national title or contending for a national title, what's the purpose? Right? You just go risk getting injured, and then your draft stock is going to go down. So
yeah, I can't be mad at them. How you feel about it, Mike?
I mean, everybody says that you owe it to your school. They gave you a scholarship. They gave you an education. But at the end of the day, yeah, if you're a marginal draft prospect and you blow your knee up in the bowl game, how many of those donors, once you don't have any eligibility left, how many of them are going to be fronting you a check the next couple of years of your life?
And then when the people say that you got a free education, they evidently have never known anything about Division I athlete, because nothing is free. Like they just lay around all day and don't do anything. Like, man, stop. Kennesaw State this weekend also, they took it on the chin, 26-20 to Weber State in the second round of the FCS playoffs. So that's gonna end their season. I thought they might have a chance to squeak by Weber State, but Weber State was able to slow down the Russian attack. Kennesaw State is gonna be strong. They're gonna bring back like I said, a lot of guys on that team. And a couple weeks ago, we previewed Kennesaw State. I expect Coach Bohannon, he's going to eventually get plucked. You know, a lot of people don't want that triple option offense, but he's been having a lot of success there. Eventually, I think somebody's going to give Coach Bohannon a shot at a bigger job. But like I said, those are the only two games in the city last week. We'll be previewing the other bowls coming up. But like I said, we have Georgia Southern going down to Orlando to play in the Cure Bowl, and they're taking on Liberty. Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze and the Liberty Flames. First of all, Mike, what is the importance of Georgia Southern making a bowl to the school and to the conference? You know, because it's not a Power 5 conference, so anytime you can get multiple teams in from a conference that's not a Power 5 is certainly an accomplishment. So what's the significance of that?
And then hold on, and the thing is, this second or third consecutive bowl game. Is it, Mike?
Yeah, this will be their third overall.
It was a gap, 1 year gap.
No, this will be the third overall appearance. It'll be the second straight, for Georgia Southern. And it's important for them, just because, like you said, they're not a Power 5 conference. They're a team that's got to prove it year in and year out. When you're a P5 team, you can have an off year and you're still going to get the benefit of the doubt the next season. Whereas when you're a G5 team, you can be great 1 year and everybody might appreciate it. But as soon as the lights go off and you run it back to the next season, everyone's going to say, you're still a G5 team. You got to do it again. So the more of those bowl games you can string together, the more winning seasons you can string together, it's going to be good for your brand. You can be one of the few that can maybe build up to be more of a national name and not just one name that pops up every couple of years where someone's like, oh, yeah, I've seen Georgia Southern. They played them before. They're an all right team. Georgia Southern's always been wanting more than that. They've started things up from scratch in the 80s. Were a national champion within a couple of years at the FCS level. Then they went to FBS finally in 2014, went undefeated in conference their first year, couldn't go to a bowl because of NCAA regulations. But after that, get to a bowl, had a bad coaching hire, but now they've rebounded, now back in the second straight bowl. So good for them as a singular program, then good for the Sun Belt because, like you said, it's a G5. They don't get a lot of respect. They're constantly rated at the bottom, if not near the bottom of all the G5 conferences. But they've also had the best record in bowl games the last couple of years. Georgia Southern was able to help out with that last season. And, they also have grown their postseason presence. 5 years ago, the Sun Belt had one bowl tie-in each year. Now it's up to 5. Georgia Southern's done their part in being one of 5 teams to be bowl eligible. So it's everybody pulling as a whole. It's one thing to have 5 bowl tie-ins, but it makes you look bad if you don't have 5 teams that can qualify. Luckily, the Sun Belt's been able to do that the last couple of years, and Georgia Southern's dead set on being one of the teams that's leading that charge.
This a little bit off script, but it kind of it made me think about something I just said with Kennesaw State with Coach Lunsford. You mentioned the bad coaching hire previous to him. What do you he keeps having success. What do you think about Coach Lunsford getting plucked for a bigger job?
Well, I think that Georgia Southern's in kind of a unique spot. When they had to make a change midway through the 2017 season, sitting at 0-6, being pegged as one of the worst teams in America, it was obvious that someone had to go, and Summers had to go. But when they pulled the players, the obvious choice was Lunsford. He had been there for a long time and recruited a lot of those kids. So he was the obvious choice for interim coach. But then when it came time to talking about who should be the permanent head coach, he was the name that a lot of those players said. They said, hey, as bad as we've been, we believe in him. We can ride with him. We can succeed with him. And that's exactly what they proved last season, going from 2-10 to 10-3 with a bowl victory. And, you see in a lot of these G5 conferences, it only takes 1 or 2 of those seasons to get a guy plugged. And I think that maybe Lunsford's had a little bit more leeway for Georgia Southern, maybe a hindrance for him if he wanted to go somewhere else, is that before he was named the interim, he had never been an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, and that, associate head coach or assistant head coach tab was the biggest title he had ever had. So I think that probably helps Georgia Southern in that even though everybody saw the quick turnaround he had, how everybody bought in, how they were able to succeed right away with him, there's still going to be some bigger teams who are going to have some cold feet about a guy who's never controlled an offense, build a defense, anything like that. So maybe they get another year or 2, hopefully, of success. But, as well as I do, if those wins keep coming, it's just going to lead to more and bigger people sniffing around.
Yeah. And Lunsford, he changed. Like, the thing is, the hire was good because he knows the culture. He knows that culture down in South Georgia. I know I kind of said this a few weeks ago because they was on that win streak, and they lost against Troy, and then I was on the lines of, hey, because Florida State lost their coach. I was thinking like Lunsford might be a good candidate for that Florida State job. In my opinion, is he ready? Is he ready for it?
Don't say that.
Is he ready for it? Is he ready for it? Who knows? But Florida State. I know that I'm not a Florida State fan at all, but I know if a bigger school call, he will leave. That's the reality of it because everybody wants to get paid.
Well, Florida State already got Norvell. They already hired Norvell from Memphis.
Yeah.
Florida State is there. Florida State was kind of in the position that Michigan was in a few years ago. Don, they had to get a name. You know what I'm saying? They had to get a name, so they couldn't go with a quality coach that nobody know. They're Florida State. They had to make a splash. They were in that just like Michigan was several years ago. They couldn't hire, even if he was a great coach or coordinator that nobody knew. They had to have a name. So that's where Florida State was going, and Norvell was the biggest name out there.
You got to get a name. Yeah, you got to get a name to recruit.
Yeah. And when you're Florida State in the position they were in. Yeah. Like I say, the same way with Michigan, the position they were in several years ago. We needed a name. We're Michigan. We got to make a splash. Don's a Michigan fan, Mike. Well, he already told you that earlier. Yeah. So at the end of the season last year, well, I'm sorry, last year. At the end of the season towards this year, we start getting some guys banged up, especially on defense. And we know Shy got banged up a little bit. You know, he was coming back. How is the health of the team heading into the Q Bowl?
I think that overall, the guys you've seen getting banged up the last couple of weeks, like you mentioned, especially on the defensive side in the Arkansas State game, one or two guys in the Georgia State game, I think for the most part, those guys are going to be back. Really, the only lingering injury concerns, and they're really not concerns because they're permanent at this point, has been the offensive line. You know, Georgia Southern's played the majority of the season without its entire starting offensive line. Right now, I believe Jared Leeds is on pace to start in the bowl game. That would make 1 out of 5 potential starters or prospective starters going into the season on the O-line that's going to make it to the bowl game. And most of the other 4 didn't even make it halfway through the season. You had concussion, a broken foot, you know, anything and everything, taking guys out. So, you know, a lot of Georgia Southern fans are a little bit antsy about how they run this option, run an offense, and yet they're not having the 400-yard games that they've been used to seeing. They're not having the explosive plays that they're used to seeing. But a lot of it's been done with just patchwork on the offensive line. And I really think that talking to offensive coordinator Bob DeBess and the players and some of the position coaches, that guys are learning it, and it's been a trial by fire. But this team is learning how to do the basics right, and that's going to allow them to do what they need to do as a running offense in you know, keeping the chains moving, keeping the points coming, getting touchdowns instead of field goals. And I think that it's going to translate well into the bowl game and hopefully give them a catapult into next season when they can possibly be a little bit healthier on the front.
Bass is going to be in the NFL next year.
He should be.
I think he's better than Koo.
If you look at his stats, they aren't great this year. But you'd have to look at the film because some of those missed kicks were occurring in monsoons. Like,
I was at the games.
He was kicking out of a puddle.
Yeah.
And that field get drenched. Like, it does not have a good drainage system. And I remember him just kicking it. And I'm talking about it looked like Hurricane Matthew was out there, and he just like nailing 35-yarders like it wasn't nothing. So.
If nothing else, you saw the pass he threw in the Arkansas State game, right? And then the punter mossed the guy.
I ain't catch that.
I would say I can't remember.
Oh man, you got to go back and look.
Okay.
It was the worst pass you ever saw.
They played in Arkansas State, didn't they?
Yeah. It was the worst pass you ever saw on a fake field goal, but the punter went up and just mossed 2 dudes.
Wow.
That had to be great for the film roll.
It was great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that one got rewound several times.
I can only imagine what was said on Sunday film study on that one.
College film session can be brutal.
Let's go in the chat real quick.
All right. We really got many questions in there. We got that Georgia boy. We have 7 people in the chat, but not many questions.
Y'all
you
say
guys,
what's up, y'all. If y'all in the chat watching, say what's up.
Talk it up, boys.
Yep. Actually taking on, like I say, Liberty University. You guys know about Hugh Freeze. If you guys don't know, Hugh Freeze was
Ole Miss head coach.
Yeah. Yeah, and we all know what happened there. I've actually been up to Liberty. It's actually a beautiful campus. It's actually a beautiful campus. Hugh Freeze obviously can coach. He's trying to get back to making several $1 million a year in a bigger conference. What do you think the scope of the game against Liberty will look like, Mike?
I mean, it's a little bit of a dichotomy there. Liberty likes to throw it around. You know, that's been a weakness of Georgia Southern's defense throughout the year, especially the short passes over the middle. On the other side, Liberty's had, a tough time stopping the run, and that's what Georgia Southern loves to do. Yeah. Liberty also has, tended to give up more possession time, and that's what Georgia Southern really loves, is to just put the pressure on your offense. Even if you can throw it, they're only going to give you 5, 6 possessions, 7 possessions for the entire game. So it really puts the pressure on you to get it done and get it done right then. Otherwise, Georgia Southern's just going to kind of lean on you and, try to wear your defense down. So I think that's going to be the game plan, is kind of same as always for Georgia Southern. They've got a good running game that's really developing. I mentioned the offensive line. They're doing the best they can given the circumstances. And then if they can get out to a lead, I think it's going to come down to that. If Georgia Southern gets a lead, they're going to be really, really tough to get the ball away from, to come back on. At the same time, Liberty, they've got the ability to strike pretty quick, and Georgia Southern's shown that they have trouble dealing with that when teams get out on them quick. So I really think it's going to come down to the first quarter, quarter and a half, and whoever's or if there is one team that's dominating through a quarter and a half, that's going to be the team that's going to have a pretty easy time, I would think, of doing what it does best and making it real tough on the other team to try to come back.
I think Liberty's going to have a hard time stopping West Kennedy. They'll have a hard time with West.
Like I said, I've been up to Liberty before, and I've seen like some of their players. They're not big enough up front. You know what I'm saying? Their D-line, they're undersized. So you certainly think that we'll be able to move them some and create some running lanes. But then like Mike said, he's been banged up on the O-line, so that's going to be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I'm laughing at Snow Walker's comment. He said, "I'm excited to see Exploria Stadium packed for once." I'll be holding that laugh back. In case you guys don't know, that's the same stadium Orlando City plays in. Quote unquote Atlanta United's rival. That's really not a rival if you pretty much beat them and they haven't beat us not once. So it's really not a rivalry. Can't wait to Nashville and Charlotte play. Have they, those clubs start playing us. That'll probably be a real rivalry. But anyway, Matt Phillips, he in the chat was good. He said, "Hail Southern." He said, Georgia Southern should have a home crowd, which that is true because Southern's not that far from Orlando. And Liberty, they coming from all the way from Virginia, I believe. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, that Georgia boy, when he said go in the chat earlier, my phone was stuck. I didn't see your comment when he was saying that he don't have a problem with the players not playing in the bowl game as well. Yeah, okay, get your check, man. Go get your money. Yeah. Matt Phillips said, "Yeah, Georgia. How far is the drive from Orlando to from Statesboro to Orlando?"
I think I got it about 4.5 hours.
Yeah, 4.5. Yeah.
Okay.
Not that far.
Yeah.
4.5. Yeah, 4.5 hours. So.
Yeah, that's not too bad. And it's
I'm going to be doing it with 2 toddlers in the car, so that's a different story.
Ooh. Hey,
and then I got to pay for Disney on top of that. This bowl game got real expensive.
Oh, everybody! I'm telling you, them kids at Southern, they look. That's why I tell people about the bowl game. They just focusing on the game. They go play, but guess what? Them kids, they want to have fun. They're gonna go to Disney World. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they go. I don't know, Universal Studios. It's a lot of stuff to do. Like if like I know. So Georgia State, they going to Arizona. I don't know what's out there. What, to watch cactuses and stuff? I don't know.
Well,
to watch a Oasis or something. I don't know.
Typically, when you go to the bowl game, Sunday you'll have some type of both teams to get there, and they'll come in and they'll have some type of dinner or something like that. Monday they'll have a outing or something like that. They'll usually do some type of charity, so each day they have events for them, the stuff to do. And then, at nighttime, the players, usually the coaches are more relaxed earlier in the week and let the players go off, with some coaches. But, they do have structure, and we all know about the gift suite too. The gift suite is always what the players look forward to.
All I know is that I'm already paying for the parks and all that. Then you got the Christmas parade, at Magic Kingdom on top of that. That mouse is getting all my cheese.
Well, I can tell you what to do about overnight trips with small kids, because I have had to drive to New Jersey before with 3 small kids. Got to drive at night when they're asleep. No day driving. You leave in the evening, so most of the ride they're asleep. That's the trick. Tell you that's the trick.
So yeah. So what's the expectations heading into next year? The thing is I know we're gonna be losing a few players on the offensive line, right?
couple DBs too, 2 corners. Yeah.
And I forgot what's Wes Kennedy's status. He's a junior, right?
Yeah, Kennedy's a junior. He'll be back next year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. As long as he comes back again, that shit.
Shy's leaving, right?
No, Shy will be back. Pretty much everybody on the offense,
okay.
all the skill players will be back next year, and pretty much most of the front 7 on defense will be back next year. The secondaries mostly graduating, but front 7 on defense and all the skill guys on offense will be back.
Yeah. So, next year, are we beating App State?
It's going to be in Statesboro, so I think so.
Yeah, because App State is bringing back a lot. They're gonna be tough again next year, and if you're gonna win the South Conference, it's gonna go through App State. Definitely, you're gonna have to now, and you're gonna have to beat Georgia State too. But those are 2 teams that
that's in Atlanta too.
Yeah, but those are 2 games next year to mark down on the schedule. If you plan on winning the conference, you definitely can't go 0-2 in those games. You at worst better split, but you're not gonna lose to both of those teams probably and win the conference.
And the thing is, do we play Lafayette again this upcoming year?
Yeah, they'll play Lafayette again. It'll be at Louisiana. The only team, the way that the Sun Belt does it, the only team they won't play in conference is Arkansas State.
Yeah, Lafayette, they've been good.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, another tough matchup. You're going So what are you guys thinking? What are your predictions for the game? If you had to put a score on the game, the Cure Bowl, are we getting a W?
I think Georgia Southern's going to get it. I think that they're going to kind of overwhelm Liberty. Like you said, I think they're a little bit too tough on both lines. They're going to make Liberty get rid of it a little bit quicker than they want to in their passing offense. I think Georgia Southern's going to be able to dictate some terms running the ball. I don't think it's going to be a runaway victory, but last I saw, Vegas had it around 6-7 points. I might go a little bit more than that. I see it as a 10, 14-point Georgia Southern win.
Yeah. And Liberty does want to throw the ball, but they're not elite at doing it. They just throw it a lot. They're not great.
Well, they got a good receiver.
Yeah,
and they got a quarterback named Buckshot, so you can't sleep on that.
Yeah. And they got Malik Willis too, but everybody knows Malik Willis. He doesn't play, but Malik Willis is on the roster at Liberty. Yeah.
What Stevenson kid?
Nah. Malik Willis, kid who went to Florida State and then went to was on Last Chance U.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean Auburn. You know what I'm saying? Left Auburn and went to Liberty. He was on Last Chance U. Just a quarterback. A lot of people know he was a big time recruit. Okay. But I can talk about Stevenson kids if you want to.
No,
I wasn't gonna do it. Okay, I would say I wasn't even gonna do it. You bring it up every time. No, but no, this time, not this time. That is usually how I slip it in. No, you're right. Matt Phillips said Georgia Southern 31-17. I think the same thing, Matt. I like that score too. I think Georgia Southern is going to take it by a couple touchdowns. We're just, like I say, a little too physical up front, and I think we'll be able to create a couple turnovers because Liberty wants to throw the ball, and both quarterbacks that they use have shown a little propensity to force it in there. So
and our special teams unit is better than theirs as well. The Georgia Southern special teams unit is really good.
So what if you had to put a number on it, Don? What would you say?
34. Matt, you was thinking very close to what I was thinking. I was thinking 34-20.
And Mike must have a good job too, because boy, going down to Orlando during Christmas time, and he got small kids. Whoa, paying for Christmas and Orlando must be nice.
Let's be clear. I mean, the company's only paying for the me portion of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, that holiday travel.
Back when I thought Georgia Southern might be going to Montgomery, my wife and kids were going to be going to my sister's house and making cookies, and that was going to be free. And now it turns into this whole thing.
Oh well, yeah. I guess that you can't tell the kids you're going to a Disney World and tell them you're not taking them, huh? Yeah.
It could be worse. It could be immobile. After every game has been played and you the last game of the season.
Yeah, we've been to Georgia Southern's been to Mobile before, and it was real fun. That was their first bowl game ever. But that was also back when it was, back on this weekend right before Christmas. And yeah, that's going to be tough on January 6th trying to get a crowd in Mobile.
Yeah. Everybody done tapped out of college football by that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the kids like to play closer to New Year's Day, but the good thing about playing on the 21st is they get to go home for Christmas. So that is a good thing about it. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Don.
No, go ahead.
No, I was about to let Mike plug.
Go ahead. Here's one. You can go ahead.
Okay. All right, Mike. Let the people know again what you do, where they can check you out at. Anything you need to plug. I know
I'm
the donations for this trip.
Yeah. I'm the sports editor for the Statesboro Herald, so you can read me there. You can read me online at statesboroherald.com. We've got videos that come out throughout the week. We'll be going live from Bowl Week from the team hotel doing some videos. And then during the game, somewhat during the week, but mostly during game days, you can catch me on Twitter at Herald GS Sports.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Because we do have several listeners that are Southern graduates or followers. Like Matt, he said, "Thanks guys for covering this game and Southern. Just subscribe." See,
Look, man, we been saying, and Matt, spread the word to everybody because I know you probably know some other Southern fans too. We don't just cover Bulldogs and Tech. We cover every team in the state of Georgia, and we're not being biased neither. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm far from biased because I'm a Michigan fan, but I cover every team in the state of Georgia, and this is pretty much his coach show, so he's not biased neither. So
this is actually the third show this year we've done about Georgia Southern.
Exactly.
So yeah, when we did the Georgia Southern versus Georgia State, everybody hopped on. But that was actually the second time. So this is actually the third Georgia Southern show we've done. So
the first one we had Big Frank on.
Yep, and then before that, even the show, the Halloween show, it was I forgot whom we covered, but I talked a lot about Georgia Southern and App State that game that day. You remember? I kept telling people, "Hey man, this is gonna be a huge game." App State
don't remember that Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was telling everybody, Don, he'll tell you. I told everybody, watch this game. Georgia Southern's gonna get the W. I've been talking about that game for weeks. So, hey, I like Georgia Southern, man. I grew up watching Tracy Ham. I watched Adrian Peterson. You know what I'm saying? So, I like Georgia Southern. Yeah. Y'all Google those people if y'all don't know who he is. Not Adrian Peterson for the Vikings.
Yeah, not the Minnesota Viking AP. He went to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Mike Pete, little brother. Google him too. Yeah, give y'all something to look up tonight.
All right. So, everybody in the chat, appreciate y'all joining us during the show. If you're watching this show at a later time, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit the comment section and hit us up. Ask if you have any questions to ask us or whatever, just hit us up and we'll reply back with your comments. We'll be back this Sunday. This Sunday we're going to be talking about hockey, Atlanta Gladiators. We'll also be talking about the Falcons game and everything as well too. But join us back this Sunday. So if you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Georgia college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always,
come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. Once again, thank you, Mike, for joining us. Coach, you got anything else to say?
Nope, Hawks getting killed. That's it.
Yeah, well, man, that's just get together eventually. All right, see y'all Sunday. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. Be safe. Tell them boys play time's up. Tell them